Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a slightly shorter reading than the other readings that I've been doing. Uh, the next sign up is Capricorn. I'm flowing through the signs for the most part. I I have been enjoying making these videos, so welcome to the Capricorns. And if you're another sign or you have Capricorn in another part of your chart, welcome. I have a couple decks that I'll be using for this video. The first one is the Slavic Legends Tarot. Then I have the Earthside Divine Tarot, the Mystic Fairy Tarot. I'll keep the card that I saw out for the reading. In this deck bag has the Game of Thrones Tarot, and then I have the Goddess Dream Oracle. This is one of the main decks that I was thinking about when I was planning on doing the reading for Capricorn, or the next reading up to. I do have a couple of channeled messages before getting into the cards, so it's all uh, part of the reading. So the energy that I was getting, it's a couple of different energies because it seems like it's this crew or group, and it's as if one person who may have been seen as like angry or temperamental, it's like he or she walks into an area and it's like early in the morning, and this other person obviously just woke up, um, just kind of doing their thing, maybe trying to ease into the tasks of the day and basically their morning routine. They could be just like looking down at a book, looking at their assignments, maybe eating. But this other person storms in and is basically like, why did you do this? Remember when you did this and it almost got us killed? Remember when you messed up on this? Remember that time when you did this, that, and the third? And this person is just like, just kind of internalizing it, and in a way, kind of not letting it go in one ear and out the other because they're taking it in, but they're not reacting in a way where the other person is expecting them to, because the energy that I'm getting from the other person that was just already there was like, I'm minding my own business, and this person just comes in, and honestly, now I'm gonna go high and dry with it, and as petty as the wind will take me. And really short responses. One of the responses I was getting was like, remember that time where you were stupid? And that's it. And then the other person gets like super heated even more, and then starts like freaking out. And then it looks like somebody else comes in who's a supervisor, and the supervisor's like, you guys are supposed to be doing your job. Like, what are you doing? And so the guy that was the first guy or girl, um, says the whole spiel of what's going on. And then the quiet one, I would say, is like, who, me? And then it's like, but he said all this stuff. And it's not like they were denying it, but it was in a way where they were kind of like nonchalant about it to a point where the supervisor is just like, well, obviously you're overreacting the first person because this person is just um being calm about it. And then in this person's head, they were like, but I did say all those things and I was petty as fuck about it too. So this is like the situation that I was getting as if it was not really much of a workflow going in terms of agreeing about what they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to be doing it and how they're going to carry around about those duties. So that was the gist of the energy that I was getting. But such a odd crew because it's not like I'm saying they're odd based off of like who they are or like um not like in a bashing way, but it's almost as if this crew is so random because you have like an IT guy, you have like a chef, and then like a carpenter. Those are just ones that I just threw out there, but they're all performing this specific task. They have this specific job that they kind of had to do more of an obligation. And that could be also like the common ground. I was also feeling like there's common ground that they're finding with all of the turmoil that they seem to be having. Because one of the commonalities, I'll start pulling up the cards, is that in the beginning, it was like an intense, like, I don't want to be here. And it wasn't just, and at the bottom of the deck, the Four of Cups. Like sometimes it was just like really frustrated, like I don't want to be here. I don't want to fucking be here type of energy. But they're there anyway. And it does feel like a process that's going to take time because the bottom of the Mystic Fairy Tarot is the Empress card. Which is a card that was kind of expected from the last reading for Scorpio because as I was saying, for the most part I was flowing through the readings for the zodiac signs because I went to Sagittarius before Scorpio. And in January, I did get this specific dream, and it was this person, and it was like we were on a beach, and it wasn't like beach day or anything, but there was a bunch of people. It was like the shoreline kind of, well, beach, and just like gathered, not for again, not for like an enjoyment thing, but there's like this giant or ship coming in, and everyone's like move out of the way, and everyone's like running out of the way, and this one person, he's he doesn't want to move because, and I was trying to get him to move because I was like, you're gonna get hit by the ship, and he's like looking up at me, and he's like, but I don't want to go. And it was a specific energy, and that's, I feel like it links with the Four of Cups there too, it with that dream, because it's like an obligation that puts you out of the storyline or life and situation that you were initially in. So, I mean, to that dream, it was like, well, if you don't want to go, at the very least, I'll go with you and we'll do it together. So that's also what I'm getting from the Empress too. Like gathering all of what she has and what she knows, or he, yeah, I'm not reading for genders, and like she's sitting on a poppy flower, and it's like it does feel like an ecstasy, or it does feel like a fireball of energy that I'm going to do this, and there's no way I can just like back down from it because this is also turning into something that I'm committing to as well. There is a patience with it, and definitely a growing process. Something has been impregnated, something has already occurred to a point where at this point it's like you're just waiting, like waiting those 9 months, or waiting the time frame where for things to turn into a different energy, um, if you will, have different types of changes and outcomes, and you can have multiple outcomes and multiple consequences because this is a day-to-day basis, and depending on what you do and how you do it, it's like um those are the things that can come out of it. And um similar to maybe pregnancy, it does not get more comfortable. There's a lot of discomfort as you move further on, um, in the different stages, and um, the changes that you go through. It changes you inside and out, and I feel like that is a theme that can come from this on this crew coming together because of common ground that they have, even though they are different in many ways. And then there's the learning curve with the Hierophant. And this is also, in a way, like a card of faith or hope, because it has well, this looks like maybe more of a pagan version, but with the Rider Waite Smith, it's more of like a popus on it. At least with the Tarot de Marseille too, or Pope or Popus. You really know how to rack up the minutes, Adrian. And that reminds me because my best friend was telling me when she used to live with her brother's family, when they were moving from one state to another, and she and her brother was upset because back in the day, like minutes and text messages were so much more expensive, and he was like flipping out because how we like to talk on the phone. That's kind of how it feels too. um and it's almost like it's a forced halt. Like you would talk and talk and talk, and all of a sudden it's just like a halted energy or stagnation. And with a pregnancy, like it being bigger than yourself, because there's more of a responsibility than just caring for yourself at this point. The card that popped out the Tower. But it came out reversed. So you see that there's like the moon phases, but it looks like somebody's trying to climb up the tower instead of waiting for the tower to fall. Because that's what the tower is. Interestingly enough, it's not a tower that's intact. It's a tower that's crumbling. It's a tower that has fallen. There's something structurally not sound with it. Either that or it was attacked to a point where that foundation wasn't holding anymore. Because it's not one where it gets hit and then a piece just breaks off and that's it. That's that. It's like the tower is getting destroyed. And this energy, it looks like, or maybe this group, it's like stopping that from happening. I feel what's interesting, and I'll read from the book too, with the Moon Lord and the ebb and flow. It really goes into the feeling of finding something in the midst of all this, of like the tower moment, because it's not like a sound type of energy that you get from a tower. It's really intense and chaotic, and people are freaking out, and people are trying to even remain calm with that too. Um, it's one where at the end of the day, or even in the beginning of the day, you wake up and you try to find something that you're happy about. Because with the flow of the water, and water is an expression of emotion, and specifically with tarot, um, it gives you the opportunity to really center yourself emotionally when you feel that everything is not the way that it should be. And it really puts it into perspective because you have the Two of Swords here too. And that could be an introspective card. Because with this, with some energies, it's like they already accepted this obligation and already accepted what has been, what will happen or what could happen, I would say. Because again, based off of the things that happen, it really can change the trajectory of life completely. And it's crazy because these are the exact queens that I pulled out from the last reading. So I pulled out the Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, and Queen of Swords. And I did shuffle this deck. And then the Empress, as I have mentioned in the last reading, is an embodiment of those queens. We're missing the Queen of Pentacles. So that's interesting too because I shuffled the deck and I got the King of Pentacles instead. So now that I look at it, it almost like reminds me of I don't play cards, but it's like I'm sorry, it reminds me of like a royal flush or something. And I'm not saying that's what it would be, because again, I don't play cards like that. But now you have all the elements, and these are the exact core cards that I pulled out, and I literally just shuffled it again, and I got these cards. Because instead of the Queen of Pentacles, we got the King of Pentacles here. So maybe the King of Pentacles is the one that's physically there, and then the Queen of Pentacles has other responsibilities that um, maybe the King of Pentacles isn't able to do at this time. Because since the Empress came out, it really gives me the, I was going to say, I said premonition. So, well, I was thinking premonition, and so that's the word that I'm going for. That these queens are the Empress, and then this king completes this whole, um, what would be an Empress. Either that or there is more of a masculine energy in the Earth suit for this Empress. And this is another repeat card. And I shuffled the deck twice. This was at the bottom of the deck before I shuffled it. And then I just shuffled it again, and then I got the Magician. So it feels like everyone's on the same page and they are determined to get this completed because they have to see it through. The baby needs to be born. Something has already occurred, and now it's like things are moving forward. And whether they like all the things that they're doing, um, it's for this specific outcome. And the outcome, the future card is the Four of Wands. So this is really coming together. And it really goes to show with like the common ground. Because as I said, these groups of people, they aren't like the same in most ways of like what they like to do in their free time, what they did as a hobby or a job. Um, there's just they came there to do a job, and somehow it was okay, and that's what it was built off of. And for a lot of it, it feels we don't really have a choice. We have to get along. And it kind of feels like school too, because when I was like, especially in high school, my group of friends, I have mentioned it like maybe a couple videos ago, where like the group that I hung out with, we were all like really random and different. And it almost felt like we were kind of like the outcasts that kind of just like ended up there. And it was like fine with us. And I guess we're like, well, we have to go here. It's not like we could just like ditch school unless like, I don't know, you got your GED or something. It feels like with this Empress, it's as if it isn't new for her to it doesn't feel like it's a new energy because this energy feels like a completionist, a person that is more of like a catalyst. And I that's a catalyst is more of a beginning energy, and I get that from the Page of Wands. But I also feel like this comes from the King of Pentacles too. That maybe he's taking like her lead on stuff, or his lead. Again, I'm not reading for genders. And there's an energy that kind of feels like hunt before you're hunted, because there's the hounds on here and the wolf, or hound and wolf. And with the moon card, it's like she knows how to work in the dark. And it feels like she gets the protection in the dark too. Because this queen, or the empress, I'm not saying it affects her morality, but I feel like it's like she'll get her hands dirty in the places where, things need to get finished. But I don't think it's like in disrespect to the king, because they really are working together, because he's the last element of the elements. There's a lot of ebb and flow that comes from this, and it really goes with the moon lore card. In the past, there's the Wheel of Fortune, and there are spirit hands on there too. So that could be where the other guidance is coming from too, because you see the there's other things that goes on with the wheel too. And it's not only having to do with the spinning wheel, because there's thread, as if it's weaving something, trying to get an outcome. And with the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune is kind of like an unpredictable energy in a way. Um, you can take it for what you will. You can have, and that also goes with like reversals of cards too. If you see a reversible card, it could be the reverse meaning, or it could be more of like um an amplified energy of the reading too, in some cases. Like too much of something can be bad for you type of energy. Because you can have a solid energy of a card and it could still be the upright meaning. I really do feel like the Empress, who's on the moon card, who embodies the other elements, is one where it's like she has like a head on her shoulders. And this is actually coming from the Pentacle suit too. The Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Coins. Because this one kind of takes leadership role. The obstacle is interesting. It's the Sun card, which I would say I could go with the Nine of Pentacles too. Because I feel like maybe with the Nine of Pentacles, it's almost as if like the mother is already has a bunch of other duties to go and do at home, and then the King of Pentacles is the one that has to fulfill it. So she already has those responsibilities. And then on top of that, she's trying to cover the grounds that he's not reaching. It's another Empress card. How to overcome the obstacle, the Empress. That one I'm getting deer energy, which can link to a gentle masculine too. You also get the overall energy is the Three of Swords, which I feel links to the Wheel of Fortune. It almost feels like there was too much at stake and you lost at that. Um, you lost more than you won. There is a wisdom with being able to laugh at certain moments, and especially when moments are serious, especially when they aren't of the best outcomes, or at the time things are stressful. Because you have the Fool card, and the Fool card, and also with the Moon card too, there's a wisdom with Foley, and um, there's this deity of the Heoka, like a Native American deity, and it's like coyote energy, being able to laugh, um, being able to think of things that you're happy about, that you're grateful about. And since it's the Fool and it's the beginning of the cycle for the major arcana, it's a never ending cycle of the Fool because it's the Fool's journey. That's why the Fool has a value of 0. Because with the Fool, there is an energy of, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. So I might as well enjoy the time that I have. Also looking like, because some plants, there is what's it called? But this is a card that looks like it has yarrow on it. And it does feel like it's a healing journey too, to look at life in a different way. Similarly to how the hanged man is forced to look at something in a different way, where things might be taking longer than expected, um, being stuck and not knowing how to get out of the situation. Because with yarrow, also with the Latin or scientific name, Achilleum millefolium, it does link to like Achilles. And then It's a traditional plant that was used in battle to help with soldiers to stop their bleeding. And now it is used to help with menstruation. So it really feels like when you were once wounded with the Three of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like the energies are trying to help put you back together. The guides are helping you look shiny again after being in a rut, after falling down, not knowing where to go, how to get up. It just feels that like an energy of trying a different path, like a completely new path, and not knowing how to go about it, but feeling optimistic about it regardless, because anything is better than the path that you were on at this point. And I'll pull out a couple more cards. I didn't pull out the Game of Thrones. I was gonna say Queen. Where's my deck upside down? And I love how with the Ace of Wands, I did pull out some from the Game of Thrones. There are the words of like excitement and inspiration here that finally going for something that you dreamed about. I feel a lot of times we often refer back to our childhood, regardless if it's something that we're happy about or wish that it's not something that we would want to think about very often. But there's like a childlike wonder that comes out of it. And I'm curious to see with the Justice card reversed and the Priestess reversed on what's going on because my deck was upside down. But I'm reading it as reversed. I feel like with the Fool card and the Justice and the Priestess in reversed, it was something that maybe like unfortunate events that you were hoping that wouldn't happen, but things did happen in that way. And I feel like that could be linked to Heyoka energy too, where sometimes it's taken not so lightly when you do those types of things. And sometimes it's like one of those mechanisms that people have too, or characteristics. Um, a lot of times, like people are like, comedians are the ones that have like basically super dark like mentalities or like personalities because they use the comedy to kind of overlap that to kind of, for some, like make their day brighter. There's an energy of like this is just this is just stalemate or stale energy. Like it could come up again. And I feel like it can come up again because the future you have the Four of Wands. For some it's like I can fix this. Because with the Four of Swords it's coming from the Three of Swords when you're thinking about it numerically. And it looks like there's a healer on there too. Because, I mean, if you're going through all the suits and you're only at four, I don't think you're dead. I don't. Because the Three of Swords, it's definitely an unfortunate energy, and it definitely puts your mind in a loop. And there's certain things, certain traumas that just kind of like that stay. And it sometimes it's whether we like it or not, it kind of molds us in a way, or it stays with us and until we figure out or realize that we have this, and then we go on the fool's journey again, something completely different, unless you go through the same cycle. But this feels like a completely different energy with the yarrow and wanting to heal those wounds. Like this feels different. And some people are could be like, oh, this is different, this is different. And then people are just like rolling their eyes, being like, okay. But it feels different when you're actually doing it, when you put the effort into do that healing, to make that move. Sometimes people don't make that move, and it's like years from now, or um the thing that they wanted or the person that they wanted, and then they're just like they just let it slip because of this cycle that they felt like they needed to stay in. And for a lot of times it's not a lot of people it's not even a comforting cycle. It's just like the comfort of knowing, the comfort of expecting. Um because maybe some people don't like surprises. And so they enjoy the mundane because if it's mundane, then they know that the next thing won't like destroy them like the other things did before. But again, there's just such a childlike wonder with the Page of Wands and an intensity, even with the Ace of Wands, too. It's the beginning of a minor arcana cycle, but it's an ace. And it's always nice to have an ace. And with the Fool card, um, it's a lot of initiative here, which is good. Then you have another ace, and then you have a 10 too. So endings and beginnings. Yeah, it's another 10 because you had the 10 of swords in the Mystic Fairy Tarot. Um, the 10 of spears, the 10 of wands. And remember, if you want to fly, you gotta let shit go. Let stuff go that holds you down. You have the Ace of Swords. I feel like there was something because before this reading, it was like I was getting like the words like help me. And it was like I feel like something that somebody said to you just really kind of um affected you to where it made you think in different ways. Because maybe somebody was like bluntly honest with you. And although sometimes like people are like, maybe they view it as inappropriate. And I'm just like, well, the truth has to come out like in that way. I mean, I don't know. For this one, it kind of feels like it's a good thing because something just feels freeing about it. Because it looks like there's like this giant wall that somebody just like concave themselves in. And with that tower card that was like earlier in the reading, it it was like somebody was able to get in and destroy those walls. Another 10. So there's a lot of aces and tens. So another 10 of wands. I'm sorry, another ace of wands. Because there was the ace of wands in the Earthside Divine Tarot. So there's this one. And there's a snake on here. So it does feel like, because snakes can be associated with healer energy. And with the truth, too, it's like, it could also be something that maybe made them spiritually uncomfortable with realizing that with knowledge, it's like when you know things, it just clears your mind. And that could be like a mundane thing, or that could be like something that's like, Adrian, that's like stupid. Why'd you say that? But I feel like it really is true that when you know stuff, you're able to make clearer decisions or like think things through better, knowing that it's not as harsh or um, something that's as bad as you thought it was going to be. Let's get the Ten of Cups. I feel like links with the Four of Wands because there's the Lovers and the Six of Spears, Six of Wands. And another Two of Swords here. It's like I can't see what I can hear. Like maybe there's like a physical disconnect, but there's making their ways. I said that weird, but something's making their way. Because you have the Six of Wands. So she's going on this journey. And it does feel like going on this journey, no matter how difficult it is, because you see that they're not exactly in the safest, soundest location. And I'll pull out one more card. And it's the Knave of Cups, which does feel like it's something that is more linked to when we do this out of love. So I'll read the book. I said it was slightly shorter. It's literally like barely shorter. So sorry about that. Lady Moon sends her hair to you as an intermediary, a link, a thread of life calling you back to your source. She is tangible and yet elusive, like a dream remembered on waking. She in this world, but also runs through the timeless worlds of myth. She communes with the moon and understands her mysterious ways. Lady Moon calls you to also commune with the moon. Feel her influence in your life as she waxes and wanes. As you begin to resonate with her, you may find a reconnection to your inner being. The cycle of her being forms a pattern in your life. In our world today, we are expected to constantly perform in a high energy way, but nature has a rhythm and pattern that ebbs and flows. We are all part of the natural pattern. Here comes with a reminder from Lady Moon and her energetic flow. Um, Become attuned to her rhythm, and you may find more harmony and ease in your life. The time of the moon is the time to be still. Reflect on what you would like to manifest during the month ahead. Keep a notebook to record your wishes and dreams. During a waxing moon, Lady Moon's energy increases. This is a time of creativity and productivity. The intentions formed during the new moon begins to manifest. A full moon indicates a time of high energy. It is a very powerful time. A waning moon indicates a time of decreasing energy. This may not be the best time to start something new, but rather a time of quiet withdrawal, a space and width to contemplate and reflect. Affirmation: I am receptive to the energetic changes of the lunar cycle. As far as possible, I organize my life to be in harmony in its pattern. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.